how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I want to jump on and do a quick reading here. I had a lot of downloads during the week, but I decided to do a video on some tarot. And so I want to kind of pull and asking, what do I need to share today? And this is going to be, general reading, obviously, and you would just apply it to your situation. So the first card that came up was the Sun card. So, of course, the Sun means new beginnings. We are in December, or in January, sorry. New beginnings, things are positive, starting off the new year in a positive way. Looking at the different life scenarios, it's a new beginning, right? So even every day is a new beginning. So we want to kind of put our perspective out there, like, because when we're living in the past, we're continuing into the future, present moment now. And so if we can look at it and change that as every day is a new day, every new year is a new year, and we don't have to do the same things over and over again because you don't get anywhere, right? And so from that perspective, apply that to that scenario, whatever is going on in your life. But it is a new beginning, a rebirthing. We are starting on a whole new level at this moment in time, in this reality and that perspective. And that is you, where you are in your moments on an individual level and a collective level. And so the challenge is to keep ourselves in the present moment, looking at it from that perspective of awareness, right? And trying to change and manifest from that space, not what has been in the past, to bring it into the new year, right? And so that brings us to the point of where we are, in the moment on the collective and an individual level of awareness. What are you trying to manifest and create, and look at it from that perspective, right? And it's a new way, right? So we don't always, and this kind of came in this morning, about like manifesting, right? And then from there, that perspective, that brings a change. It brings the Wheel of Fortune, whatever it is that you have been working on, of course, because there is the collective of that from that perspective, not just the collective for everybody, but the collective of everything that you have ever been, that you've put into the soup, that you've manifested and created or wanted, or said, yes, I want this, the sifting and the sorting through all this stuff that you've been through up to this very moment. Is going to come into fruition. And so you have the Wheel of Fortune, and whatever that is that you've been creating, whether it's positive or negative, that's going to be coming into this year, right? So it's the formulation of everything of all past coming to the future and the present moment to bring you what you want, to sift and sort through that for this year, right? So it's a constant evolution of sifting and sorting over and over again, different things. What you've wanted or chosen in the past, you get another opportunity now in the present moment to make that same decision, or to make that as a change, if you will. So from that perspective, on our awareness, like, what are we doing? Are we staying present in the moment? Are we choosing from the past? And you'll see things start to manifest in the present moment of what you've chosen before. And it'd be like, you just could be aware of it, be like, oh, and then you can either change whenever it appears to you, then you make the change of what you've created before, in that awareness that you created that, oh my God, because becoming aware. And we want to look at that in our lives, because we're always doing things that we may not be aware of, and even the smallest little negative thought is a seed that's planted, right? And the Buddhists talk about this. The smallest little negative thought evolves, because everything is evolution. Everything is a living, a life, right? A form. And even that thought that you keep thinking that is negative is going to produce an energy and vibration, a vortex in itself, which brings you to the present moment of it. And when it appears to you, right, over time, is the buildup of the repetition. I'm tired, and then you're always tired. I'm depressed, and then I'm always depressed. I'm happy, and then you have your happiness, right? So what we're doing, we're creating, and a lot of us don't think of it, and how it's going to show up for you, we don't really know. Why? Because that's the unknown part, because so much goes into the creation of what we're doing in that present moment of thinking those thoughts repetitively. And then it combines and attracts to anything else that has been before in your vortex, right? It's a combination, cumulative, collective effort of the universe to bring that to you. It's an attraction, if you will. This is important that they're saying to pay attention to this, not just for you, but for myself, right? And so, in that collective appearance, how is that going to show up to you? And in what way, right? From that point of view that you've taken and you've thought those thoughts repetitively, um, from that space of consciousness, your awareness, right? And so from that space, where have you been? What have you done? And what have you thought? And what have you felt about it? Because when we add emotions to it, it brings it more into evolution. It kind of speeds up the process, right? So that is either positive or negative based on our thought process. There really is no negative and positive. It's just everything is for you, right? Because it's for your evolution, even when it isn't something that we don't want, right? Because it helps you to know what you do want. So we have both aspects in that awareness, and that's on the timeline that you're thinking that thought, creating it, putting energy into it, vibration, spending time there, dwelling in that space, right? So the more that we can get into the space that what we want and dwell in that, the more that we're going to manifest that or stuff that we don't want, right? And it's just a cumulative efforts of the universe, if you will. So let's say they want to give an example. When they say the cumulative efforts of the universe, because we put so much stuff in the universe, the collective energy, right, to create this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, I want. And so sometimes when we have split energy, we may want to have this kind of a business, or we might want to have this because we have a lot of different interests. Well, how does the universe resolve that? It's a collective effort. So you are brought to a space and awareness where you can bring all those pieces in together, right? At a point of the experience. So let's say, like in my experience, to give you a reference, I've had the near-death experience, and then I've also went to the side. I have that knowledge. I do the channeling. I've woken my abilities. I understand all that. I've gone through counseling. I have a counseling degree. I have a nutrition degree, and then I also have the life reviews, right? I also have intuitive abilities, medical intuitive channeling, and I also have yoga, meditation, all these different aspects of life, right? And so, how does the universe multitask? It multitasks by bringing you something, that includes all of those, right? If that makes sense. So you can bring all those aspects of yourself into one thing that you want to create and work with. So these are just kind of like tools in your tool belt. So you can bring into the world what you want as your passion, your purpose for your divine creation, right? And so that is an aspect of the universe, multitasking and bringing all those things into you from that perspective. And though it may be you're led here, and you think it's this and you think it's that, but it's really not. It's there for you to add to your tool belt, if you will. And these are your interests of the universe, guiding you in this way along the path. So you can do that and bring that into that space of your creation of what you're supposed to be doing in your purpose, your life purpose, fulfillment, right? A lot of people, though, get caught up in the whole, oh, I went to school and then I had gotten this degree and now I'm stuck here, but it's just a part of life, right? It's just, we have to let go of that because that's only an aspect, right? And so there's more to learn and to do after that, right? It just because we go and get a degree doesn't mean we're going to do that for our whole entire lives, right? That's not what this is about. It's about the change because there's many different things and tools that you need to put in your tool belt for you to do what you're really meant to do. It's just a part of the path, if you will. And so when we hang up on that and we get stuck in that and then we suffer that, and not go and learn anything else, and we just stay there or stagnant, right? And so that's very limiting. We don't move past that, because if we're staying and believing that this is who I am, instead of understanding that the path is going on different journeys, learning and surrendering that, okay, this part of my life is over, right? And now I need to move on and do something else to learn, because we're always evolving. Consciousness, awareness evolves over time, and we have to want to keep up with that, whatever that is for you on your journey, and just follow the path, right? And stop staying stuck in those spaces where it keeps us from and off the path of moving forward, right? It's not that you're ever really stuck, it's just we keep ourselves stuck. We keep ourselves from moving forward to the things that we want or create, because we think this is it, but then it isn't it. Have you had the experience where you got into a situation and you were like, oh my God, that's you waking up out of the dream, right? So say you went went to college to become a um, a nurse or a nutritionist or psychologist or a, I don't know, librarian, right? And then you get in there and you're like, then you start waking up for the dream, because you've had the dream, right? The dream, I'm going to be this, the illusion. And then you wake up in it, and then it's like, this isn't it. This isn't fulfilling. And that's just part of the path. Right? A lot of people look at it as suffering, but it's actually meaning that it's time to move on to something else, because you've already done that, been there, learned what you need, and then you need to move on to something else to bring in another aspect or learning, evolution from that other point of view. Because all that kind of collective creation of everything you've put in the vortex, like Abraham Hicks talks about the vortex. Everything you put in there is sifted and sorted through every timeline of evolution to where it is you're being. Now, from that timeline, you're creating in this space, in the moment of what is changing from that perspective. Which brings me back to, we never know really what's going to be, because we only know what we've done. We only know where we've been. We only know that, like in my experience, nutrition degree, psychology degree, yoga, meditation, Buddhism, yogic traditions, learning about different things, all are accumulated aspect that the universe can work with to bring in what you're wanting to, where you are now in the moment, to fulfill that need or want or desire. Now, there's also the accumulative of the positive and the negative, right? So we bring both of those in, and it depends on where it is that you are and what you're doing and how you're manifesting it. So bringing it into fruition, because we are in a new space, new time, new area, new level of awareness, consciousness, which has shifted, right? So everything shifted. We're in a rebirth, right? We're rebirthing right now. Everybody, individual level, collective level, and that consciousness, and wherever it is that you are on that, on both levels, is what is going to bring into you, right? Where are you suffering? Are you doing the self work? Are you doing the self healing? Are you doing the transformation? Are you staying present, picking and choosing through the vortex, right? This is what I want. This is what I want. But there's also stuff in there that we don't know, right? About, and that's where a lot of people may have an immediate shift from one person to a whole other person, right? Could have been the very happiest person, and then all of a sudden they're like the saddest person. Our paradigm is basically everything that has ever been, right? And so that's in evolution. So from that point of view, when we're looking at that, that includes your ancestors, your past lives. That includes your life, this lifetime. And we all know that we're currently in the great awakening, the shifting. So it's even more powerful right now. Everything that you're creating, or everything that you've put in the vortex, and everything that you're wanting or not wanting, sifting, sorting through that aspect of manifesting, right? And so it's the practice and process of manifesting from a place of love, space, things that I want, what is my purpose, feeling into that space and becoming aware of what that is that feels good, within yourself, not outside of yourself, because you see something like, oh, I need that car, I want to manifest that car, but what is truly in the heart, right? What is really truly important from that space of being in your awareness, right? And so the collective um, aspect of the universe manifesting is bringing everything to you for you to see it, to be it in this present moment. And from that awareness, we get to choose from that aspect of awareness to where it is that we are, that where we're going in the future. And that brings us to the awareness that we are more than who it is that we truly are. We're manifesting and creating in any and every moment of life, our lifetimes, right? And so the collective effort is for the universe to bring everything to you together as one, right? Because it's always in the emotion of its goal is to bring everything into oneness, right? That's the collective effort of the universe, right? From what they're saying. So to bring that into union, which is with everything else that has ever been, in order to be that. So it puts things together in an effort of what's matching, right? This matches this and this fits here. It's kind of like a puzzle, putting all the puzzle pieces together for you in a collective level. And so that's where the awareness is coming from on that aspect. So have you ever had a manifestation where everything was just perfectly and divine and you had everything and everything that you've ever wanted in the moment of being from that perspective, right? Everything just kind of clicked and fit together. That's the collective effort, right? So the universe is geared towards, and I want to say that's its role, if you will, to bring everything to you in a collective effort, or bringing everything to you at once that is possible. So it doesn't mean anything and everything, all things, because you can't have anything and everything, all things. Kind of everything fits at that moment. Only the certain things that are a match in relation to you from that moment, that point of where you are, right? Because yeah, you may want $1 million, but you're not there yet. It can only bring you where it is that you currently are in the moment, that fits together in that puzzle for you at that moment. Because that purpose of the universe, I'm going to say it again because they want me to say it again, it is to bring everything into oneness. That's its divine role, basically. The universe is to bring everything into union as one, the collective effort, right? And so that's where that comes from, on that perspective and level of awareness and intelligence that it's been set up as by source. And so it can only do what it can do by you putting it into the vortex. So what you're doing and what you're putting in there, it's working with, right? To bring it into the timeline in your present moment. And so on the collective level, for instance, me, everything that I have ever done and worked on, as far as, developing the skills, having the near-death experience, doing yoga, meditation, has brought me into a space of coaching, right? And so it includes all those aspects, right, in the paradigm. And then I'm able to help others, with that, with these channelings, putting information out there, putting me into books, doing readings. So it has brought everything that I have ever done in this lifetime and prior to, which has led into this present moment. The reason I took up this person, this being, this experience is to bring this through to you if you're open to receive it, which is the experience of you being in alignment where you are, to be able to receive it. And if you're not, then of course it's not going to make sense to you from that perspective. But the awareness that you are where you are on the path of the journey, because everybody's at a different place, is awareness of itself being where it needs to be, that picks up on certain things that you're attracted to, that brings you into the awareness of it. And so on the collective level, where you are is where you're meant to be. You always are. You're never not meant to be somewhere that you're not meant to be. It's the path, right? And so it's just evolution, the flow, right? And so being in flow with that and the change that we're going through of the evolution, right, is going to bring us to the present moment. And so through flow, not holding on, gravitating to certain things and having it for holding on to a life. And that's only when we create the resistance, which is the suffering of our lives, right? And that's the resistance of moving forward with source in the path, bringing everything into a collective oneness, right? And so from that point of view, we want to be able to move with it and let go and surrender and be in flow, and stay in the present moment, right? Where we are. And then we can see the things that we're manifesting by being in the present moment. We can see, oh, this is showing up. I see this little image, or I feel like I'm in the present moment, because it'll show it to you. If you have your abilities open and awakened, you'll be able to have that experience, right? And so because everything is already created the minute you choose it and you say yes to it, right? Even if you say no to it, it's starting to be created. It's when we are manifesting that we're keep repeating it, thoughts, emotions, feelings, things like that, that is going to create, right? It appeals to the universe to bring it to you because that's its purpose, no matter what side it's on, the positive or negative. And again, there really isn't any negative positive, it's just how we see it, right? But it's all for you, because in order for you to know, then you have to not know, and to not know, we go into the not knowing to know the know, if that makes sense. So it's the realization of having that experience, no matter where it is that you are on a collective or individual level. It's manifesting for you, and you can see it through your intuitive ability. So it's always important to manifest and work on your abilities, so you can have that divine connection when the universe is trying to bring it to you and to let you know that it's here, right? Because I was sitting at my desk, and they're saying to share this. I was sitting at my desk, and I'm working on manifesting this business. And I was seeing myself actually as the observer sitting there at the desk working in my creation, my manifestation. And what I'm working on is the life death doula business, and everything that I have ever worked on and created is being brought into oneness, the fulfillment of my business, of what I'm doing and what I'm putting out there. And although I'm working on this part, this part, this part, this part, these different aspects, it's all coming into fruition. And you start seeing the whole picture, right? You get to see the whole picture at certain points in lifetime. This is where I am currently at, right? Is seeing the whole picture. And I'm like, oh, I got it. Okay, this fits here, and then how to bring it in, and it's all coming into oneness, right? And so it's your manifestation of all things of past in the present moment into what you're bringing in, no matter what that is for you. And so from that point of view, we can make that and change that. If there's something, we don't have to stay with it. It's not, in stone. You can always change it. I have this cute little birdie hanging out with me here. I guess it's a finch. I don't know. It has yellow, and a little tiny little bird just keeps flying around. Um, I guess it's curious, but it's manifesting. Um, my business, and it's showing up, and it's showing up in different ways. Like for me, because I'm intuitive, I can see it, I can feel it, I can sense it, and I can choose it from those different awarenesses that I have, that are awakened within me, right? Which is a space of knowing, not the not knowing. Because when we're in the not knowing, we suffer that. And so if you do want any sessions, definitely reach out. I have links in the bottom below, and you can check that out. I'm also on Facebook, my email, stuff like that. But definitely reach out if you're interested in doing a life review session or reading, anything like that. We can help you out. And so, but this basically, it is everything that comes into oneness, right, through that path of evolution. Which also brings me back to originally when I first started. Sometimes there's things in our collective that we don't know about, things of the past. So our lineages, could also be past lives, a lot of different things that we've done throughout this lifetime, that we've put in the vortex that we don't remember, or that we put, so we never know really what we're going to create, but it's going to show up for you no matter what, on the paradigm when it's time. Because even though if the universe doesn't, and this is what they're saying, even if it doesn't bring it in the present moments, it's still there. It's holding in the memory, right? If you will. It's kind of still there. It's just not been created yet. But if you get to a point in your life where you're aligned in that, from any of the paradigms or any of the shifts that you've had or created, or whatever it is that's in your vortex, when you get to that moment in lifetime, whether it's this lifetime or that lifetime, that's going to come in, because it's a match to wherever it is that you're resonating with, right? So say your family has been, in poverty, and you've been experiencing because you were the child in the family, or your past life you were murdered, or whatever the case may be. If you're resonating at that, that's going to attach to that other thing that is in the memory of the universe, because it never forgets, right? It has this memory, an infinite memory, like a computer system, like the cloud. It has an infinite memory of anything and all things that have been put in your cloud, right? And when you're resonating at that, that brings it into the present moment as a part of the collective piece of puzzle of where you currently are now in the moment and that creation of whatever that is. And that's going to be the experience, right? And so a lot of times we're like, well, I didn't create that. But it's in your resonance because you're in this body, this framework, this form, if you will, this construct, right? And we have connected with it for the reason of having that created at some point in our lifetimes. We never know really when it's going to manifest, or we really never know what it's going to be, but because the universe is addressing that, it's putting it all together as a piece of the puzzle. So for instance, like in my experience, all the things that I've done is helping to create and to manifest the business that I'm doing, that I'm working on. And then that's on all timelines. So if there's something in the vortex that hasn't been dealt with, hasn't been cleaned up, hasn't been healed, hasn't been faced or looked at, fear, death, hatred, anger, jealousy, it's all going to resonate with where you are in the present moment on that timeline, right? And it's going to bring it to you in order for you to deal with it and see it and feel it and move through it and pass, right? Go heal whatever you need to do with it, right? So even if it isn't yours, it's in the lineage, right? It's in the infinite memory of the DNA, the structure that's been created here in the timeline that you've chosen to take up, which you've resonated with, which is the pre-choosing of our lifetimes, of the past, which has been built up into the present moment, if that makes sense. And so from that point of view and that perspective, knowing that whatever you're creating moving forward is going to show up, right? And so it's important to stay in the present moment of whatever you're creating. And so the next card's here, and that's what's in present. So everything, this is the journey card, right? It came in upside down, right? These actually came together when I pulled them. This was on top. So no matter what you've created, whether it is to you a positive or a negative thing, it's coming, right? It's going to be manifesting, and this is of the earthly realm. Money could be whatever is earthly, right? The physical form realm. It's coming, so don't worry about it. And whatever the past was, it is what it was. It's of the past, right? It is no more. You're not going on the journey. It's been of the past. And you've worked through a lot of stuff, right? You can see all the cups there, right? Emotions, things like that, the illusion, going on the journey. So everything that has been your journey in the past is coming to you, right? And manifesting. And you can also look at this, as, like I said, going back to the shift there, because kind of what I get when I look at it is, because when it came in, it was upside down, right? It's of the past. You're no longer on the journey, but you're receiving. But at the same time, everything that you've been on the path that you've went on the journey is, like I was just saying, all these, the nutrition, the counseling, the psychic abilities and near-death experience, everything that you've worked on in your life is coming into fruition. You're going to receive it in abundance, right? Because we are in that time of the shift, right? It's the Great Awakening. So I'm hoping that you've put in positive things and been working on those things. If not, you're going to get another opportunity, because it's a constant evolution of, okay, we didn't deal with this, we didn't work on this, it's going to come back up another time when you're back in that space, right? So we always want to work on what's in front of us, dealing with our situations, not bypassing them, right? And a lot of times people don't want to do that. They want to kind of just change their perspective and bypass. But it's important to work on it, right? And change that paradigm, because although it's a set stone and it's been written already in the DNA, and you can't change that officially, you can overwrite it. You can overwrite it with something else and look at it from a different perspective, which changes that paradigm, that brings you into a present moment of something else, which is awareness of itself, where you are now, not where you were then, because that is the past, not the present, and it's not the future, because you can change the future based on where you are in the present moment, if that makes sense. Okay. And then the King of Wands, right? Looking back, because the King of Wands, these were here, and then this is on top. So the King of Wands was looking back at these, looking back at, taking a look at everything that you have ever been done, which is this path, right? The path that you were on, which you're no longer on because it's upside down, and you're into the new path, the new time frame, which is awareness of it is that you're at. This guy is the king, energy of wands, taking action on everything that has been in the past. This is what you've worked on, right? Because wands is action, doing, and manifesting, mastering everything that you've had in the past. You're now a master of it, which is, for me, where I am, where I'm able to do it for others, a mastering, right? If that makes sense. So the king is looking back in that direction towards those cards, those other two cards, and looking at what it's mastered, right? Look what you've done, look what you've accomplished, and celebrate that. Because again, I've done a video on the celebration. Everything is a celebration, even your little milestones, even your huge milestones, right? Everything from this to that is a milestone, even when it is something we look at as negative. It's a milestone. It's something that we've obtained and created, because that's how we get the knowledge, right? Is by going into the shadow, the darkness, the things that we don't want, in order to create and change and manifest and change the paradigm into something that we want, right? It's the manifesting process. And although sometimes we can't see it when we're manifesting, we have intuitive abilities, so you could feel into it. And we may not feel or know which direction to go in. This person's kind of blinded, trying to put their feelers out, trying to see. They can't actually see where this is going. And you may be in that moment where you can't see where this path is leading you, or you may need to just feel into it. You may need to manifest it from a different place. You may need to use your intuitive abilities, but this person is not able to see. You just have to trust, right? Trust that everything is working out, everything is manifesting, everything is as it should be. And then the next one comes in is the Page of Wands, right? This is looking at it from a place of, because Wand is doing, and then the page is like youthfulness, right? Our inner child, our inner creation, manifesting, having fun, curiosity, looking at it. Bringing it into that point, that scope of looking at the situation, because you look how he's intently looking at that stick. He's like, he's kind of inquisitive about that, and just taking a look at it, from that point of view, from that inner child, that youthfulness, that playfulness, right? And not being so quick to judge or quick to put anybody down or yourself down, or, um, you know, be so hard on yourselves, right? Because it's part of the path, right? A lot of us get into those places where we're just, what they're saying is that where we are, in depression, we're just putting ourselves down, and then we're feeling sorry for ourselves, or we feel sorry for another person, and then, or whatever the case may be, try to put it from a youthful look at it, right? And so instead of somebody or some, a perspective that is, the word just escaped me, so serious, thank you, and so being so serious. And then, just love yourself, right? Give yourself grace, give yourself love, be kind to yourself and to others, and know that, look at all the flowers in the cups now, right? From the journey. And that's what they're bringing to me, the journey. It's not fulfilled, right? Your path wasn't fulfilled. It's coming fulfilled now, because you have them all fulfilled in there with flowers, love and kindness, peace, generosity, right? Abundance, things like that, right? So the cups are fulfilled now. And then looking at it from that queen, the Queen of Swords, right? Thinking about it, okay, and giving, right? Because then we can master ourselves. And this is the feminine, right? Feminine energy, the queen. The swords is about thoughts, beliefs, looking at it from that point of view, and mastering your mind, mastering your thoughts, looking at it from a higher perspective, on that consciousness. And sometimes looking at it, we need to give stuff up, because when we don't know is when it comes in that we will know, right? Because if you think you know something, you only know what you know, and it's not until we let go of what we think we know that we will be able to know something else, right? Which they tell me all the time. Because if you have a full cup, that's what it is. That's what's manifesting, and you can't fit anything else in that full cup. You have to take some out, right? And so it's like, okay, I think I know this, but maybe it's not, right? And you have to be able and willing to change the perspective and awareness of where you are, what you're doing, who you are, from that mainframe of realization. And that can be a struggle, of course, to surrender things or believe in something that we think we know when we don't really know it until we know it. And that's just a change in perspective and awareness, right? So sometimes we have to um, give it up, surrender. Sometimes we have to just hang out and just chill for a while and contemplate on it, and manifest from a different perspective. And then that can bring in higher consciousness when we can give up our belief systems that we're hanging out in. Because this guy's hanging out, and you see his idealism right there. He's just hanging out in there, what he thinks he knows, and not surrendering it. He's holding it in the space. And then when you can do that, you bring in the higher consciousness, right? The channeling, the higher priestess. And then this is a knowledge card, right? So it brings in more of a higher consciousness for you. And then you're able to see through the illusion. Like when we get through and drop what we think we know, we believe, then we get through the illusion when the consciousness comes in. And when the consciousness comes in, it kind of breaks apart the illusion, right? The moon, you can see both dualities, right? So the shadow and the lights, you're able to break through and bring in the lights shining on it, right? It's like this parting of the waves, right? The consciousness, not the ocean. Like Jesus is a part, but you can reuse that. Like that's funny. They're so silly. Um, but that is the parting of the ways, right? The consciousness, when you can bring in the divine knowledge and the wisdom into your shadow aspect, and not knowing, the ignorance, what you think you know when you don't actually really know. You just think you know because that's what you've been taught or what you've been groomed into. And we've all had grooming, and depends on your grooming, whatever that is. Because from my growing up and my grooming, I could have been a whole different person, but I've chose not to be that, right? And though I was going down that path and getting stuck at certain places, my awareness came through in order to help me to change that. And so I wasn't like they were, right? So I've changed the paradigm and the shift in consciousness. And so I get to look back and see it's all been for my evolution and growth, and to be happy and to not suffer it, even though it was not always a good place, if you will. There's been struggles, big struggles. But yeah, when you can shine light, you can break up the duality, right? The illusion, right? And then you can step out of that. And then the next card that came in is you can go forward from a new place, which is from the Heart of Cups here with the Knights, right? Learning to be in a new way, learning to master the heart from a new consciousness. The Cups is love, emotions, feelings, moving forward with grace, right? And being able to manifest that into the abundance, right? The Empress, right? So everything that you've ever been working on is coming into the into basically the moment, right? With where you are, or what you've obtained or worked on, or have been able to overcome. And so everything is coming into abundance and manifestation right now, which is going back to the rebirth, right? So this is like actually a reading of a whole cycle pattern, if you will, from that all the way around, and how it works in the manifesting, which they wanted to kind of share in this reading. But you're able to manifest from here, and everything that you've worked on in the past has come into fruition as you're moving forward in this present moment in time. And so that's basically what the reading is about having the new fresh start where we currently are. We're in a new year, 2025. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the shift in consciousness. We are in a different space, a new awareness, a new time frame. And although you may not be aware of it or see it, we are, right? And from here, it's going in a different direction, and we're moving forward in a different way, which is going to bring about more abundance and happiness for everybody, right? So it's always changing, and the change is on the way, and you just have to be patient and allowing that to come to you, and being okay with everything of the past, right? And the journey that you've taken, up to this moment, because it's coming into fruition, and just keep being in that moment, putting yourself in that space of awareness that it is manifesting and helping to evolve that, right? Not the absence or the lack of it. Be in the space of, yes, this is working, this is creating, this is manifesting, and feel into it. And when you see or receive some information from the universe on it and you can see it intuitively or feel it, hang out and linger in that energy, in that space, not the absence of it, right? If that helps. And just want to share that as a beginning 2025 reading for everybody. Also for myself, because again, I keep building on constantly on, my business, working on that, the video, sharing the information, channeling information, whether you're open to it or not, it's okay. If it's not, then that's fine too. I have Facebook, all other social medias, my website, things like that I'm working on. And then I do have a tarot book that I created. If you are liking tarot, you want to learn tarot, this is Intuitive Tarot Journal. So basically, it's on Amazon, Amazon.com, and I'll have that links below. It has where you can intuitively fill in on the pages. It's a journal, so I put at the top, and you work with each individual card as you go through the minor and the macro arcanas, and you just fill in what you're receiving intuitively about it when you're sitting with the card in meditation, right? Make your sacred space, and when you pick up the card that matches the page, it gives you a couple pointers, right, for the card, and then you just fill in what you're receiving intuitively. It also has for the suits some information about what the suits are. So like a descriptive for the cards, right? So this is to help you intuitively to learn and not really learn from reading a book. You can read a book, but it's always great to open the aspects of intuitiveness to your reading. So this is going to help with that. And a lot of people love this book because I get really good feedback from it. And I sell the book at my events when I go, and I do have crystals that I sell when I go to little different events in the area. So I have my books, and I'm always out of them because people are always buying them. And it's on Amazon. If you can't make it to an event, it's on Amazon.com, and I'll put the link below. And I'm going to do a special here. If you purchase the book and you send me a receipt that you've received the book and you purchased it, then I am giving out a free 30-minute reading of tarot. Okay. So if you interested in getting the book, it's not that costly. It's going to help you on the journey of learning tarot intuitively, and also you would get a 30-minute free reading, and you just have to show that you've purchased it. You're the one that purchased it, so you would have to either email me or contact me in some way, and I'll have that link below as well, and then you can show me that it's been purchased and that you received it. You have to receive it, not just purchase it and then cancel it. You have to actually receive and have it in your hands, so I can know that you actually officially did, in order to receive the free 30-minute reading. So definitely, if you're interested, and that's going to be for the first 50 people who is going to do it, from Amazon. I have some sales on there already. However, if you do it, I don't want it's not applying to anybody prior to, so that's why I'm having you reach out and tell me and show me that you've received the book officially, right? So it's only for a short time. I'm going to do it for the first, I'm going to say up until March. So you have till March to do it, right? And then you have to claim your reading once you get your book, okay? And I'm going to have that information down below in the description, and so that you just follow along with that if you're going to purchase the book. So if you want to go on the journey of reading tarot intuitively, that is there for you. Also, I do teach tarot. If you want to do one-to-one coaching sessions, we'll go through we can do it together, and we can set up certain times that would work for both of us, and then we can get that fit in there, teaching tarot classes to you as a one-to-one tarot coaching, I should call. But yep, it's there for you. If you have any questions, drop them below. And Happy New Year 2025. Make it a great one. Happy journeys.